to say, God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
It's a wild card night. Freshly paved, smooth to the championship. It's time to eliminate 4 more drivers. And live here tonight, it's Talladega Super Speedway. 2.66 miles of surviving for the fittest. QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and camera packs here provided by Dougie Beard. It's the slightly dangerous 240. And could be a different night, different winner. Could see all of that here at Talladega. Notorious racetrack for providing close finishes, and you look back to the history here of QSR Simulations. You can go back to the B-Class series where we had one of the closest finishes in V-Speed history. Less than 2 1,000ths of a second 4 wide across the finish line. But you look here at the points with Alan Dobbs, Austin Thomas, and Jason Blaney. Those drivers looking to capitalize and survive here tonight. Maybe trade some paint, maybe trade the lead for this championship. But again, going back to guys that are outside of that top 12 in the points with Burlington, Ruckriegel, Likens, and Brent Allen. Those 4 drivers eligible to make it on a win here, a win in your end system for this playoff. And, you know, Christian Ruckriegel having some more consistent finishes at the tail end of this season. He's been looking good. I'd like to see Al Likens have a good night. He's had the opposite luck of the end of this season. So the 3 car, maybe when we get to the grid, we'll find that luck and see how this race starts out for him. But based off of these points, that top 12, that's where we need to look for. That's the drivers that are currently locked in based off points and wins alone 4 wins on the season here for Alan Dobbs and getting another one just last week. But we got to look at the schedule, and you take a look here. The round of 12 begins next week at Pocono Raceway. You have Texas Motor Speedway in that as well. And that's where things start to get technical. The round of 8 with Watkins Glen. If Quentin Stewart can survive all the way through to the round of 8, I know he does quite well on the road circuits. He might be a driver to look locked into the top 4 for Kansas Speedway. But you got a lot of 1.5 miles, a lot of intermediate ovals in this playoff format. And, you know, drivers like Allen gonna go probably every single week in the top 5. It's gonna be tough to beat him. And I know Alan Dobbs, I don't know why I said Josh Allen. Alan Dobbs gonna probably get away with a lot of victories throughout this playoff format. But take a look at the track map. 2.66 miles, 33 degrees of banking. It's one of the steepest racetracks we'll ever visit. Bristol right next to it. And September 13th, 1969, this track is kind of rivaling what Daytona puts on as a show. And it's a lot wider out here, to say the least. And now it's time to take you trackside. Get the grid up on your screen. Starting on that top spot, I was talking about the luck change. It's going to be Al Likens with a 53.932. Davis Greenwell to the outside in the number 20. The 3 of Likens putting it on the top spot. He's in a must-win situation here outside of that cut line. Row number 2 goes to Chris Otto. Galen Wunsch will start in the 4th position, 5th spot with Alan Dobbs, Wyatt Walker. Then you have David Killow and Nicholas Caldwell, 8th position. Top 10's going to round out with Finley Fitzsimmons, Jesse Gordon back to 11th with Mitchell Costner and Ryan Philbrick. Then you go to 13th position with Quentin Stewart, Dylan Picklesheimer, 15th Austin Thomas and Christian Ruck-Riegel. Austin Dowdy, Jason Blaney, 17th and 18th at top 20 with Josh Rent, Ethan Wisnowski. And it's 21st for Jeremiah Nelson, Johnny DePasquale, Tristan Pena, Tony Burlington, Nathan Lyon electing not to grid or had a problem here tonight. But here we go, live and racing from Talladega. Last race of round 1 of the playoffs is live. Nathan Lyon able to grid from the pits, I do believe. We'll see the 38 car out here on the racetrack. Leading lap number 1, though, it's going to be the 3 of Likens. Caution is out. Big problems here in the exit of turn 2. Ruck-Riegel's around the 9 of Picklesheimer, and 2 cars involved in this one. We made it 2.5 miles and almost 3 miles there. Talladega notorious for big crashes. Here's a look on the outside, riding around at 13th position. And there it is, the 88 of Fitzsimmons riding the wall. The underside of that car destroyed. Watch this right here. 33 fits it in the middle, and it all goes south. Four cars involved in this. We'll take it on board with the 88 of Fitzsimmons. So things going south right away for the second half of this field. That stage and race analysis up on your screen. 90 laps here tonight at Talladega. 55 miles per hour, the pit road speed limit. 3 tire sets available. That stage of lap 27. That's where these championship drivers are racing to. Now Lyken's going to lead some more laps. He got out to a good jump and has held on to it so far in this one. We have some opportunities during these cautions. A lot of pacing here. Long racetrack to go around. Talladega takes about 3.5 minutes to pace around, and so I think it's time that we look for some of these championship drivers. We're actually going to pull up Finley Fitzsimmons, though, first, and get a word with the driver of the number 88. Sounds like a popped engine for you here. Man, 2.66 miles is all this 88 got to do so far.
Yeah, it's a real shame to get hit out this early, but there's really nothing I could have done. It was just a bit of a tussle on the high side. I've seen the replay, and yeah, I mean, shit happens. It's a super speedway, but we'll knuckle down and come back fighting next week.
Well, and you go back to the start of this race, we know coming in that anything can happen, but did you expect it to happen that early?
Definitely not. You never can. I mean, it's a 90-lap race. You wouldn't expect people to be cutting in and out of line so early when it's, only lap 2. So, of course, it's a bummer. You never expect it to happen, and, I'm not going to talk about any guys that are here because I'm new. I'm not trying to make any enemies, but, you've got to be more careful when it's this early on.
Couldn't agree more, but appreciate you coming up here and talking to us and keeping it calm and collected. I know plenty of racing left to be done here in the season. Finley Fitzsimmons will try to talk to you next week at Pocono.
Thank you, man. See ya.
And very bummed out driver of the number 88 machine. Lights are still on the pace car, so why not talk to that pole sitter? See if we can find the driver of the 3 car, Al Likens. There he is, Al Likens in the number 3. Do you got a copy with us?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Al started on the pole, and we were talking about maybe the luck changing here. You're in a must-win situation based off of the points. Feel like 20 points is a pretty sizable gap. But right now, it's looking pretty good. 3 laps led. You've stayed out of the wrecks, and we've got the 3 car on the restart for the top spot.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to stay up front, try to stay out of trouble and lead all I can, but I really ain't got no teammates up here, so I just have to see what happens.
Well, and we were asking Fitzsimmons there. He actually rode the wall, popped an engine. Did you expect that caution to come that soon? I know Talladega is one of those tracks, plenty of room to move around. Did you expect that yellow to come?
I did not. I wouldn't expect that early, but in another way, I'm not surprised because how you bump here, it's easy to get spun out.
Well, we have you up in the broadcast booth. You want to shout anyone out real quick before we let you go?
Teammate Slightly Dangerous from Daryl Johnson.
There you go, Al Likens. Slightly Dangerous sponsoring this one. Go win it for him.
Thank you.
So there you have it, your pole sitter up in the broadcast booth of Al Likens in the number 3, and something to be said about that particular paint scheme here tonight. A lot of success at tracks like this. iRacing pace car will pull off this time by. Safety vehicle has the lights off of the roof. Lined up 2 by 2 for the grid. Likens, Otto, Dobbs, Gordon, and Greenwell, the top 5. Stage about 22 laps away when we go green. Dylan Picklesheimer done for the day. He drove a total of 1 lap here tonight. Austin Thomas also done for the night. Pace car going to pull out of the way. Here we go for another start. Let's try it again. We got 2.6 miles in. Let's try for a green flag run. Likens, Auto, front row. Talladega, USA. QSR Simulations Next Gen Series back underway. A lot of aggression there by Chris Otto, diving to the low line. Got down in front of Alan Dobbs. And the outside line about 4 cars deep with Jesse Gordon leading it. On the outside line with the 05 to 85 of Wyatt Walker. Outside can't get it going just yet. They fall back to around the 6th, 7th position. But stepping to the outside, Nicholas Caldwell going to try to get something going with the 110. He'll get to the outside of Ryan Philbrick. This is mid top 10. Right around that 6th position. The 11 still can't get it going. It's 5 cars deep. Tristan Pena in an all-gold number 50 here tonight. Look at that paint scheme. Orange gold. Iconic Motorsports and the Whataburger on the hood. He has Quentin Stewart just ahead of him as they come off of turn 4. Looks like the outside's finally starting to get it going. There's the 20 of Davis Greenwell. What a surge of speed there on the outside. Elevator move for the 22 of Blaney in the background. Almost took him 3 wide. He's going to dive back to the inside. A lot of movement very early. The aggression level very high. Drivers knowing if they're in a must-win situation, they got to make something happen here. You can see the sparks off the bottom. A lot of downforce in these cars. Off the back end of Nicholas Caldwell, the outside still has not been able to get organized enough, even with that side force. And we've seen that in this next-gen car. Lately, it seems like the outside line not able to get it going. He will get up to 5th. They'll get side by side with Galen Wunsch for a moment there. But now across the tri-oval, it's door to door. More and more cars continued to join this outside line that has been pretty stagnant around the 5th position. David Killow moving up to the outside. He started in 7th. He's back in 15th. Looking to try to recover this. On board with the 43. And when we go through these corners, you can see the sparks flying off the underside of this body. And you want downforce on these cars, but when you're dragging the racetrack like this, it makes the handling a little more severe, a little more difficult to control, more sporadic. Amplifies the bumps, and the guys that are on the inside are going to have a harder time keeping the car down there. You see it bumping the racetrack. It's actually scrubbing a little bit of speed. So Likens continues to lead. That inside line working to his favor with Chris Otto on the back bumper, ticking these laps away. Lap 12 at Talladega. Dobbs in third. Greenwell still holding on to fourth. The 11 just not able to clear. Now Dobbs moves to the outside. He sees the opportunity with Nicholas Caldwell. Here's a push to the out high line. He'll give him a bump. Let's see if the 54 can take the lead away. Man, it just looks like the bottom of the car is dragging the racetrack so bad that the outside line can't even get it going. Likens gonna move up for Otto. Give him some breathing room, get some clean air on the front end of that machine, and cool that car down. On board with the 45 of Otto. Chris Otto started in the third position, quickly moved to the bottom. As Davis Greenwell on the back bumper because the 54 of Dobbs moved up the racetrack. Dobbs still holding his own there around the second, third position. And it's looking a little more familiar like Talladega. The inside and outside lines start to even up. Dobbs got a really good push there off the corner. Not quite clear of Chris Otto for second. Likens moving up the racetrack to try to breathe that 45. Going to try to play both lines. He'll dive back down the racetrack. And now 3 wide for the lead. 54 in the middle. Here comes Nicholas Caldwell on the third lane. He's got the momentum down the backstretch. He might just take it away. .110 of Jesse Gordon giving the shove. Is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like it. They fall back 2 positions. Frustrating on the outside right now. We have an on board with the 5 of Ethan Wisnowski. Riding the low line right now. There's Nathan Lyon in the 38, 1 lap down. He'll get that free pass position if it stays the way it is. But just quietly riding around for now. The low line seems to be where you want to be, with Likens holding on to the lead for another lap. 17 has begun. Stage at lap 27. Likens needs all the points he can get. Seems like the 3 and the 45 are working quite well together. A lot of drivers are trying to fill that gap when the 3 car moves up. Based off what we're seeing so far, Likens and Chris Otto communicating quite well, and they've actually gapped a little bit back to Galen Wunsch in the 199. Davis Greenwell pulling ahead about a car length. Have to go back to Nicholas Caldwell to find any side-by-side. Positions gained or lost on the left-hand side of your screen. Don't be surprised to see double digits as this night progresses. 12 spots gained for Blaney. 22 up to 6th. It's actually losing some spots now. So we'll come across the line. That number will change down to 9. Outside, grouping back up, trying again. And I have to wonder if going up to the very high line and getting out of that side draft would help these cars. It's kind of instinctive. We've been racing this track for a long time to pinch down on the inside line, but maybe that's the reason this car hasn't been able to get it going yet. On the outside, 11 of Nicholas Caldwell could be the first lead change of the evening. Pushing on that right rear, though, for the 110 of Jesse Gordon, kind of dangerous. Some would say slightly dangerous for this week. Side by side with that slightly dangerous racing driver, Al Likens. The first time the lead was contested today, he holds on to it. Got his hands full, though, out of turn 2. Seems like every lap that goes by, the inside's starting to fade, and a lot of it has to do with the heat on those engines. Could be tire wear. Oh, sideways for the 11, into the outside wall, Nicholas Caldwell. We're gonna stay green, but he looks destroyed. Taking a look at it on our V-Speed Instant Replay, and it looks like Caldwell gets turned a little bit by the 110. Jesse Gordon, outside wall. And Nicholas Caldwell done for the day with that damage. Was trying to get to pit road here, and the 38 of Nathan Line was on the inside of him, couldn't do it. See if we can get another look on the blimp camera. That tap right there. And unfortunate for some of these drivers, we stay green, but the inside line has organized again. And down the backstretch, Likens has a sizable lead. Still have the 11 of Caldwell trying to get back around to pit road. He's on the inside line. Likens has Greenwell and Wunsch behind him. Coming into tonight, the 11 not playoff eligible, but the 3 car is. He's 15th in points, 20 below the cut line. He is in a must-win situation. Mathematically looking like if the 3 car doesn't come out of this on top, I don't think a stage win and a top 5 is going to cut it. The driver behind him of Davis Greenwell is in 10th. He has a little bit of breathing room, about 4 points, but he would like to get some stage points. Outside line with Alan Dobbs. First time we've seen the outside work this well. 45 of Chris Otto. He's had a lot of practice pushing that 3 car. They surge right on by down the backstretch. What a head of steam for Alan Dobbs. And we're coming up on the white flag here in just a moment. Likens asking Greenwell to go with him on the high line. Finds a way back to the front. Just like that. I don't know if Likens can get the 20 to work with him in time. But it's going to be white flag in the air for stage 1. With Alan Dobbs on the top spot. Can Likens take the lead back? He led 90% of this stage. He's going to need help from Greenwell. Move to the outside for the 45. Otto's going to go high. Likens going to go with him. Gives him the shove. We've got a third line developing. Here comes the 22. Likens is around. He gets sent to the inside wall. And we're wrecking for stage 1. It's Jason Blaney in the 22. Likens crashed to the inside. A couple other cars involved in the tri-oval, and Jason Blaney wins the stage. He was third in the points coming into tonight. Top 10. Something's a little bit broken here. I think Wyatt Walker actually got that stage somehow. I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm going to have to go back and review this. I didn't even see the 85 down there. I'm going to try to confirm this information. I think it was the 22 of Blaney that actually... Wyatt Walker just totaled somebody. Come on, man. Across the line, it was the 22 of Blaney that got it. Well, let's back this up a little bit further. Here's a look at what happened to the 3 car of Likens. Across the nose of Dobbs. Looks like the 12, the 20, whatever you want to call, on the Greenwell. Greenwell got into a lot of cars there. So it was Jason Blaney. Can confirm. Well, we need to go back and look at this. This is across the line, of course. And then the 85 of Wyatt Walker, who is also playoff contention, getting second there. When we go down the back straightaway, for some reason he wanted to mess with my telemetry. He got out ahead of the 22, as did Austin Dowdy, who I believe got third in that stage. Drives it below the apron, which is harmless. Did you see him down there waiting for the 22 to get back by? And as the pace car catches up to the field, the 85 creeping back up onto the racetrack, pushes the throttle too hard, and hits the 45 car. 54 of Dobbs gets involved. 99 of Quentin Stewart almost gets a piece of that. And that kind of messes with the entrance to pit road. Everything kind of botched there. So we get doubled back up. A third of the way through this race, and it's Jason Blaney up front. Likens, who led most of the first stage, coming back out onto the racetrack. Are slightly damaged there from the inside wall. Still has a fighting chance to go win this race. Getting set for stage 2, QSR Next Gen. Last race of round 1. We're going to eliminate 4 more drivers here tonight. Don't believe the hype. Whoever's in the lead right now might not even be in the race when we reach lap 90. We might even take it into overtime. Here we go for stage number 2. Green flag. QSR Simulations with Jason Blaney on the inside. Back underway with Walker, Philbrick, Doughty, and DePasquale on the top 5. Had some 3 wide there for a moment. DePasquale picks up 2 positions on this restart, and Jason Blaney falls back to 4th. 45 left out to dry. Chris Otto, who had that touch and that contact with Walker, who's going to end up leading lap 31. Ryan Philbrick up to 2nd. 10 positions gained. DePasquale up 19. 18 gain for Tony Burlington. Burlington doing his best here on the outside. Has a push from Josh Wren in the 19. Good to see the 19 back out on the racetrack. It's been a while since we've said his name. Early exit for Nicholas Caldwell. The incident that didn't bring out the caution. Heavy impact with the outside wall. The 11, not playoff eligible, was one of the drivers that made the final 4 cut there last season. We'll be looking to do the same next year. A 2x2 with Burlington. Looks like the outside might get it going. Wren can't give the shot there through the tri-oval, so it's going to be Walker with another lap led. But the outside's starting to come together. There's Likens on the outside. Ricard was trying to get something going here. A bit of a blinking moment there for Philbrick. Don't want to see that at a plate track. As they come down the backstretch, it's Austin Doughty leading the outside line now from the 4th position. Can he get the momentum? He's got Josh Wren giving him a shove. Big shot down to turn 3. He's up to 2nd now. Almost. He is clear to the inside. There's a hole there. He does not choose to go down. But a lot of spots gained quickly for Austin Doughty. Move to the outside for Chris Otto. 48. Jeremiah Nelson moves to a 3rd lane. 25 cars started this event here tonight, 20 of them still on the racetrack. That third line develops and falls apart. 19 of Wren falling back. The 8 of Dowdy now has help from the 5. Here comes Ethan Wisnowski to give him help to his teammate. Big shot down the backstretch. The 5 and the 8. Almost got Dowdy sideways here. Car looks like a handful tonight. Wisnowski a lap down. Still giving help, though, to this top 5. Nathan Lyon on the bottom. He got back on the lead lap. Now running in 4th. Missed the grid here tonight. Biggest mover of the race so far. 21 positions gained for the 38. Dowdy with the lead going into 3. Another change here. Wyatt Walker, Philbrick, Dowdy, Wisnowski. Can't get it done out of 4. They're going to pinch down through the tri-oval. Is it enough? No, it is not. Walker holds on to the top spot. So Walker with a commanding lead of about 6 cars now as Nathan Lyon gets back around the 8 of Dowdy. Wisnowski. You have the 33 of Ruck Regal with a little bit of damage on that outside running in 8th. The outside line full of cars that have been involved in one thing or another here tonight. Car moving up the racetrack. 38 of Nathan Lyon. He's going to move all the way to the outside and let these cars by. He's going to end up losing some spots with this one. We're sitting right around lap 40, coming up to 41. Perfect time here. To ask you to find those volume knobs. The remote control. Let's get a noise complaint for QSR. Let's crank it up. Presented by MSR Performance. Coming by for lap 45. Halfway through this event, Wyatt Walker's still your leader. He has led 14 laps here today. Second most laps led, Jason Blaney, your stage 1 winner. 2 cautions and 3 lead changes at Talladega at the halfway mark. The track temperature, 90 degrees. Hasn't changed much since the beginning of this one. But what it has been really consistent is the inside line holding that lead. We saw it with Likens earlier in stage 1. Now we're seeing it with Walker. Nobody able to get up there and really contest it. We got close a couple times. You had the 8 of Dowdy with the 5 of Wisnowski. They got right to the door of second place. Dowdy was the only driver that was able to get by on the outside, but problems there, taking it 3 wide. Nicholas Caldwell. The 11 out of the race. He was on the 3rd lane of 4 wide coming off of turn 4. Walker continues to lead. 45 of Chris Otto sitting back at 6th position. Pinched down here. They come out of the tri-oval. Your points leader in the 54 machine of Alan Dobbs, trying to push this 45 car back up here. And I don't know who you are. There's a specific rule when joining the driver cameras. I'm going to show it. But your name is Turn 1 Turner. And I can't even see your face to identify you. So I have no clue. You could be the guy leading the race right now. I have no idea. But there you go, an onboard camera with a guy that failed to follow instructions. Coming up on 40 to go. Riding on board with Jesse Gordon. He was involved in that incident with the 11 of Nicholas Caldwell that did not bring out a caution. Caldwell out of the race. Gordon deep in this field, running in 15th position right now. Walker falling back. Chris Otto takes over the top spot. Got a good enough shove. Here comes Quentin Stewart. We had a lead change. Very quick move to the outside. Thinking back on an instant replay here. Watch this on the high line. Back it up one more time. It's going to happen within this lap here. Quentin Stewart has a run as well. But it's Alan Dobbs who finally gets the 45 car down the backstretch. What a shot there. He saw the 85 and 06 were not connected. He's going to get him to the door. We go back to the live shot. 99 of Quentin Stewart is now challenging. And what a move there from Stewart. He got the 45 a little bit loose. Pulling that side draft, thought he was going to take it. 45 moves up the racetrack. On board with Quentin Stewart. Can Stewart take over the lead? Dobbs on the inside in second. Austin Dowdy going to give the shove. They'll stay side by side going into turn 3. Dowdy holding it down right now. Give a pretty good shot there to the 99 to get him out ahead. He's going to take another one, though. Can Stewart lead this lap? No, he cannot. 0.02 of a second. Dowdy moved out of line, the 48 to the middle. Third line is developed right down the center. This is going to hurt Quentin Stewart. Jeremiah Nelson's going to gain a few positions out of this. Stewart moves up for his driver, his friend there in the 8 of Dowdy. Ends up getting left out to dry. Ruck Regal's going to fall back. Chris Otto back with the lead. Here comes Likens. Remember, he went sideways with around 2 to go in stage 1. Led 24 laps. Needed to make it to lap 27 to lead the entirety of stage 1. Had contact with that inside pit wall. Does not seem to be affecting this car too bad. They have to challenge Chris Otto and the 54 of Alan Dobbs. That's going to be a tall order. Dobbs was able to push that 45 back up front here. Wow, what a push here on Jeremiah Nelson. He'll take over the lead. Can he clear to the bottom? He will not. He'll hang with the 3. Nelson gets a glimpse of the lead here. Likens continuing the push. Otto on the inside. 0.03 of a second. Now 4 across the line. Dobbs gets him back ahead. Just barely to lead that lap. Nelson back to the front. Likens has no help behind him. A break off here in the background. David Killow down pit road. Speeding. And the 43 is going to get a penalty. So pit stops right around that halfway split. Lap 27 on the stint. 56 laps into this race. Quentin Stewart back out on the racetrack. Pit stops underway. Tristan Pena back out there. On the outside, 48 car with another surge. He'll lead this time by Nelson with his first lap led from 21st, 20 spots gained. He'll jump down in front of the 45. Likens pushed him all the way up there. Finds a hole. Likens with a great move there in front of Wyatt Walker. He'll get to the inside line. And I would assume these cars are about to come down pit road. Jesse Gordon. There's Wren as well. We're going to go by for another lap. Galen Wunsch in the 199 coming back out onto the racetrack. Do we see a flood down pit road this time? We do not. I think these drivers might be aiming for that lap 60 mark. .110 with heavy damage on the right front. Not sure what happened to Jesse Gordon. And he has a lot of damage. Might have picked that up during those green flag pit stops. Gonna stay out for another lap. And this might be the mark for Jeremiah Nelson, Chris Otto, Alan Dobbs, Al Likens. Single file all the way on the inside line. Nathan Line getting past. He's way ahead of Galen Wunsch. These drivers could cycle out to be your leaders if we have a bad pit stop. Going a lot further into this run. An additional 4 laps for Nelson. Stretching it way further than we thought. It's quieted down quite a lot here. Chris Otto giving the pushes to the 48 of Nelson. They single file as if they're going to come down pit road. Most of this field has. You have to go all the way back to Quentin Stewart. They're in a tandem of cars. Threatened to go a lap down right now with Christian Ruck, Rigo, Austin Dowdy, Tristan Pena. We have Nathan Line in this group as well. He's actually in the leader pack, catching up to that. He might get nobody coming down. I think these guys are waiting for a caution to come out. They're going to run themselves out of fuel. Here's a look at the other group. The 43 of David Killow is also in this. The 19 of Josh Wren. The 8 of Austin Dowdy. They're staying about 6 seconds ahead of the lead pack right now. Less than 30 left. The gap continues to shrink here to this first group. "26 laps left at Talladega. QSR Next Gen Cup Series action all season long. When will we see Jeremiah Nelson lead this group down pit road? Getting closer and closer on fuel for the 48. And the longer that he's out in that air, the more fuel that he's burning compared to everyone behind. 45 going to keep pushing. They're trying to catch up to this other group. Here we come down pit road. 48 car locks it up. Execution perfect. Nobody makes a mistake. And pit stops for the final group. There's Dobbs finding his stall. The 3 of Likens as well. Looks like fuel only stops for all these drivers to make it to the end of this race. As they cross that stripe, 25 laps to go. Likens down and away. That will hand the lead to the 22. Jason Blaney beats them all out of the pits. The second group just now making it through 1 and 2. Are they going to catch him in time? They are not. Wyatt Walker gets left out by his lonesome in 9th position. This group's going to have to pick him up if he wants any shot at catching up here, as they're going to start side by side with Al Likens to the outside. He'll take over the lead. Lap 67. 48 car dives or moves to the outside. 3 car contact with the 54. And a close call there. I don't think Dobbs has got enough room. He'll move back to the outside with the 45 of Chris Otto. Close call there through 1 and 2. Dobbs will get the lead. They'll dive down in front of Likens. Jumping back to the second group, they're 7.8 seconds back. Last time by, the leader Alan Dobbs, a tenth faster. The 5 of Wisnowski now pushing the 99 of Quentin Stewart. Running out of laps to catch back up. 7.5 seconds. That deficit shrinks down just a little bit here with the 5 giving the push. We'll have 22 laps left to catch up to him. Front pack, single files out. They know they're coming. And at that 20 to go mark, 21 laps left. We're going to take this chance to take you side by side under green. Uninterrupted coverage coming back here on V-Speed with QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series at Talladega.
Walking and Rolling Costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to our live coverage. Around 16 laps to go when we cross that stripe. Alan Dobbs, your leader, stage 1 winner. Jason Blaney riding in 5th spot. Al Likens in this must-win situation riding in 3rd. You have Chris Otto in between the 54 and the 3 car. You got a second pack of cars trying to catch up to them. They've made a little bit of ground up, but we're only talking about half a second. They need more than that. Quentin Stewart leading this group with the 5 of Ethan Wisnowski, who is actually a lap down, giving the push from the target machine to the QSR CEO. You have Dowdy in this mix. You've got Tristan Pena in the 50 car. Currently in 10th position into your top 10. Dobbs in another time zone compared to that group. Actually gains a little bit there that last time by. They picked up 2/10 over the second pack, and it's just not going to be enough. They need a caution if they want any chance. They're running out of laps for that to happen, and with everybody single filed out, I don't think we're going to see it right now. But there is a chance at the tail end of this that it could happen. Dobbs looking for his 5th win. Doesn't need to win to lock himself into that round of 12. With Chris Otto giving him the push all night long, I'm sure Al Likens and Jeremiah Nelson have been communicating what they're going to do to get around this 45 and 54. Would expect with the runs that we've seen here tonight, they'd probably want to step out with 2 to go. It's taken a long time for the outside line to get it going. They would want to pinch down on that 45 for at least a lap, keep him from being able to breathe the car. I think when you come out of turn 2 on the backstretch, that's when you go. You get connected to each other's bumpers. 45 moves out of line there for a moment. But this is where the action is going to happen. This top 7 or 8 cars. Ryan Philbrick at the end of this. Your stage 1 winner, Jason Blaney at the back of this. In 5th, Johnny DePasquale. We haven't seen him win yet this season. DePasquale coming in 5th in the points, 17 out of that cut mark. He's looking solid. He would like to just survive the day. Mitchell Costner out of the race, and that might help Anthony Burlington, who's currently running in 11th position. Christian Ruck-Riegel's had a rough day. He's probably not going to gain enough over Costner back in 19th for Ruck-Riegel. 3 laps down, sticking it out though in that 33 car. Driving around this place with the Nathan Line. There's Galen Wunsch and the 199. $11 laps left at Talladega. It's been a quiet night. Again, race recap on top of your screen. There's Blaney with the stage win, 2 cautions, 10 lead changes. And a lot of those coming during pit stops. Watching your leader, Dobbs, drive down the back straightaway. 10 laps left from Talladega. Dobbs, Otto, Likens, Nelson, Blaney. Any one of these cars in this front pack, with the exception of the 110 of Jesse Gordon, have a shot to go win this race. It can happen from anywhere. Communication and timing will be the deciding factors. Otto pushes Dobbs out to half a car length. Maybe trying to size up this run for the final push. 9 to go. Anybody out there in the chat of these top 7 drivers, who is your prediction? If we stay green, it's going to come down to them. The gap between 7th and 8th has grown to 11 seconds now. Checking back here with Quentin Stewart. They have the 5 of Wisnowski leading this pack. Ran sideways. The 50 of Pena's got turned just now. Tristan Pena probably not happy with Josh Red. The 50 of Pena was in the top 10. He's back to 12th now. And Wren was a lap down. With under 10 to go, Pena needs something to happen to get him back into this thing if he wants any shot at gaining positions. Tristan Pena coming into tonight, 7th in the points. He can't afford to lose anything else. Bringing the points up on your screen right now as we approach 5 to go. Playoffs round 1 with Alan Dobbs, your points leader and race leader. Austin Thomas not out on the racetrack tonight. He'll lose some spots because of this. Buttons a little bit close together here. Would like to thank MSR Performance for the Crank It Up segment earlier in the midway point of this race. But drivers that had a camera here tonight. Would like to thank them. Austin Dowdy, you have some major frame rate issues here, but we're going to ride on board with you. Not sure what's going on with the camera there for Austin Dowdy. We'll try to get that sorted out for him at some point through the season. But 5 laps to go. It's starting to get side by side here in the front pack. They're plenty, 11 seconds ahead. That's tons of room for them to start racing side by side. Johnny DePasquale, the 22 of Blaney, getting the shove. Your stage 1 winner trying to go for the race win. To the outside of the 45 of Chris Otto. Otto has some damage now on the front end. Might have been pushing Dobbs a little bit too hard here. Not sure how you pick up that much damage just giving a shot to the back end of a car. Wunsch down to the bottom. Ruck Regal staying high. Going to allow these leaders to race side by side down the backstretch. A tandem of 4 cars side by side. Lycan's falling back. Blaney's around. And the caution is out with 4 laps to go. Johnny DePasquale gets into the entry of 3 and 4 and hooks his teammate in the W22 hard into the outside wall. The 22 actually wasn't hooked by the 1. It looks like he came down on the 45. Back this up one more time. We'll ride on board with Chris Otto. Otto came up the racetrack. It's just a weird situation right there. Watch the 45. I'm not sure if the 22 comes down or if the 45 comes up. 45 came up the racetrack and hooked him. And a late race restart. This is going to change everything. This is allowing Quentin Stewart in that 7th position on back to catch up to the rest of this field. We're going to pull up Quentin Stewart in the 99. Bradley Cooper, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, this is a bailout. Let me tell you, overtime now, and the situation has changed. You guys were over 10 seconds back, and it seemed like maybe it was all over for you, but this puts you back in the hunt.
Yeah, I hope so. I've got about 5.7 laps of fuel left, so I'm hoping we get it here on this one green-white checkered, and it all works out. But yeah, we were dead in the water back there. Ended up switching and letting Ethan lead the pack there, see if that made a difference. That didn't make a difference either. So yeah, we were dead in the water there, but we got saved. So we'll see what happens.
Well, and the factor here with green flag pit stops, this has been a really clean race. And, you know, you come to Talladega, you expect 5 cautions at minimum. This is one of those races that we could still see it, though, with the overtime.
Yeah, you know, it's really this package, man. We've been talking about it in chat. Just this package, man. It really just doesn't allow you to race the way that you want to on a super speedway, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's contributed to why it's been so clean tonight, because people, I mean, truly, just there isn't a lot of moves to make. If you get out of line, there's not really a whole lot you can do. Everybody has to be working together perfectly for the line to move. So. You know, it's not even an iRacing thing. This is how they race in real life. If you watch the Talladega race this past weekend, it was pretty similar stuff. So, yeah, it's a package issue. It's a car issue. NASCAR's got to fix it, and then iRacing can follow suit. So,
well, it is one of the most realistic simulation softwares in the world, and definitely on the counterpart. But Quentin, you got a good scenario here. I know a lot of people backing you up. It looks like if you finish this thing out, you're going to go on to the round of 12. And I know you're looking forward to the round of 8 with Watkins Glen in that mix. Anybody you want to shout out real quick before we hit this restart?
Gotta shout out Slightly Dangerous Racing. All those guys, they sponsored tonight's event, so huge thank you to them. And our admin team, everybody on the staff here at QSR, those guys worked so hard to make all this happen, and I definitely couldn't do it without them. So, and of course, all the great work you guys do over at V-Speed. So let's see how it goes, and hopefully we can be talking again here in a little bit.
It's a slightly dangerous overtime here with Quentin Stewart and the rest of this field. Good luck.
Thank you, man. What'd you say, Wisnowski? I was getting interviewed. What's up?
The timing there with Quentin Stewart. Thought I moved him back way before I moved him back, but I got him there. I try to be as quick as I can to get these guys back into communication. But we're double back up, and we had a free pass position there. Going to put one of these cars back on the lead lap. Galen Wunsch now in a better situation. Still a damaged car in the 199. The 3 of Al Likens has damage on the nose after that last incident with the 22 going sideways of Jason Blaney. He's going to be coming off of pit road after damage repair. Had about a minute 51 on pit road. One benefit of the long pace, we're under caution. You can get a lot of that fixed here at Talladega, and you need it. These cars aero dependent all the way through. But it's going to be Alan Dobbs, Johnny DePasquale, without a teammate here. Ryan Philbrick, Chris Otto in the top 4. Jeremiah Nelson, Al Likens, Quentin Stewart. That's 7th on back as we approach overtime. First green-white checkered attempt. Talladega. Wouldn't expect anything less. Are we going to see another historic finish across the line? 2 to go at the stripe. Alan Dobbs, green flag is out. Dobbs with a big jump there. He's out a little far ahead of the 45. DePasquale has a car glued to his back bumper here coming off the corner. I believe that's the 06 of Philbrick giving the shove. They group back up on the inside. Will we make it to the white flag? Coming through 3 and 4. It's the front 4 side by side. The hardest pushes we're going to see all night long. We keep it clean. Wisnowski looking in the middle. The 5 car, 1 lap down, mixing it up. He'll get a push. One more time around here from Talladega. The one of DePasquale gets the lead away from the 54. The 06 of Philbrick gave him the shot to get him to the top spot. It could be the first win of the season for the 1 car. Likens falls back to 5th. And DePasquale into 3 and 4. Will we see a move to the outside? This is where it's historically been. We might see a block here. DePasquale doing a great job. He's going to have to check him down. He gets a shot from the 45. And Johnny DePasquale is going to win across the line. 1/100th of a second. His first win of the season comes in playoff time. Nathan Lyon going to give him a little touch and congratulate the driver of the 1. He's had previous victories, but this one is special. Talladega, the first of Season 3 in the QSR Next Gen Cup Series. Taking it back on a replay across the line. There it is, coming off the tri-oval A shot there from the 45. It was just enough to keep Alan Dobbs back to second. Here's the push from Chris Otto, who had been devoted to that 54 all night long. And we go 3 wide across the start-finish line. Johnny DePasquale by what is now officially 1800ths of a second. Massive race to the line. 2 and 3 wide all the way through this field. Quentin Stewart going to end up with a 4th place finish from this. Remember, he was back in 7th. We'll hit the replay button one more time. Here's the white flag in the air. DePasquale got a shot from the 06 of Philbrick. He'll dive it down to the bottom. We know the move's coming here out of 3 and 4. If you're Alan Dobbs, you don't want to do it too soon. I think Chris Otto stayed low in the hopes that he would end up gaining a position out of this. Dobbs going to move to the outside. The little block there from DePasquale. Enough to hold him off, and then that last shot from the 45 to get him across the line. Look at him fan out 3 and 4 wide with a big run. And the 1 car gets it done. Congratulations to Johnny DePasquale. Again, came into tonight 5th in points. Was locked in pretty much on points. But this win is going to help him when we go to Pocono. And we're going to come around to the front stretch and watch this driver burn it down. There's Jason Blaney, your stage winner. Burning it down here on the front stretch at Talladega. Post-race interviews with your top 3. Those final race results coming up here for QSR. We're playoff time. Round of 12. Those final race results coming up here on V-Speed.
Walking and rolling costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
But Jonathan Parker, he locked it up in the Stage 1. Jonathan Parker, our Season 5 champion. Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to our post-race coverage in QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series. The slightly dangerous 240 has concluded with one overtime scheduled for 90 laps here today. We went 92 for an additional 6.5 miles roughly. Jason Blaney, your stage 1 winner. 3 cautions, 11 lead changes to finish out the night. And the drivers that led the most laps here did not prevail. Johnny DePasquale gets his first victory of the season. He started in 22nd. He gains 21 spots. He is the biggest mover of the day. The V-Speed driver of the day going to the number 1. Alan Dobbs, Chris Otto, your top 3. We'll get a word with their points leader and Chris Otto in just a moment. If we can get Chris Otto into the Discord, that would be great. Quentin Stewart with a top 5. Seemed like he was going to finish 7th at best, but a late race caution puts him back into a scenario for a top 5. Al Likens, sorry to say it for you, man. It was a solid day. It just wasn't good enough. I don't think mathematically those points are going to be enough to get you up there, but I have been wrong here on V-Speed. We'll have to wait and see what the official word is. Likens might have just got in there, but based off of that 20-point gap, it's going to be a tall order. 6 goes to Jeremiah Nelson in the 48. Jason Blaney, who got the stage win. He tried some moves. His teammate gets the win. He'll get 7th. Austin Dowdy in the top 10. Ryan Philbrick in 9th. Tristan Pena, after getting turned there without a caution, he'll recover to a top 10 in the 50. Wyatt Walker will finish in 11th with Galen Wunsch. Wyatt Walker leading a lot of laps. Galen Wunsch got back on the lead lap there with that late caution. He'll finish in 12th. David Killow needed another yellow to get back up there in the 43. He'll finish 13th. Nathan Line in 14th. Then you have Jesse Gordon, one of the promising drivers coming into tonight. He was up front to start this race. Problems in the first half. He'll finish in 15th. Josh Rind 16th. Ethan Wisnowski a lap down as well in 17th position. Tony Burlington Christian Ruckriegel and Mitchell Costner rounding out your top 20. There was actually an issue here with my timing and scoring, and I think the 20 of Davis Greenwell is going to end up 21st position. Then you go back to Nicholas Caldwell in 22nd. Austin Thomas, not on the racetrack for very long in the 35. I think he hit the grid. I don't think he really completed much of this race, so finished 23rd. Finley Fitzsimmons, 24th. And Dylan Picklesheimer involved in that early caution as well, the lap 1 caution with the 88 and the 9. He'll finish in 25th spot. But it's time to bring up your victor here tonight, Johnny D. Pasquale.
Yes,
Johnny
sir.
D. Pasquale, back to victory lane. It has been a while. I'm thinking maybe like 7 months. It's the last time we had a chance to talk to you in victory lane. Finally, we get you back up here, and it's in good fashion. You're going on to the round of 12, and I think mathematically you would have done that anyway, but it feels sweeter when it's a win.
Oh yeah, it always feels sweeter when it's a win. Yeah, I think the last time I talked to you was here. Was the last time that we raced here, and I'm not the greatest super speedway racer, so for some reason I just keep on being in the right place at the right time here. And yeah, usually Talladega is not really good to me, but it's been pretty good here recently.
Let's take it back to the start of this race. You're 22nd. Electing to start in the back of this field, I think, for the most part. And you want to race quietly for the first half, especially in that stage, and everybody gets a little chaotic there when we're trying to get stage points. But did you feel like a sleeper in this one? Did you feel like you were hypnotizing everybody to not think you were a factor and then just go out and win?
Oh God, I don't know. These races are you're so reliant on everybody around you. Like there was times I was on the outside lane early and there were guys that were washing up a little bit and I was like, man, I do not want to be here. It's so early to be racing like this, but it's exciting. You know, you want to be battling, you want to be racing, and it's just, you want to race, you want to make it to the end. You know, I mean, a lot of guys crashed out early and they didn't even have a chance to even make it to the end. So I hate it for my teammates. Jason had me and him were on the outside there, and he wanted to make a move. I wanted to wait a little bit, but he said, nope, we're going now. And I was going with him, and we made it all the way up to the front, and then he ended up getting turned there. It was really, really unfortunate. It felt like I was kind of alone, but thankfully I had Ryan Philbrick behind me. I owe Ryan Philbrick a lot of kudos. He was behind me the last, I feel like, 30 laps, and he could have made a move on his own. I know he's not in the playoffs. He wants to win a race too, but he was super, super good to me. So I owe a lot of credit to Ryan Philbrick.
Well, and Chris Otto giving you that last little shot there across the line. I mean,
Yeah.
Alan Dobbs had stepped out almost in perfect timing. I thought the 45 was going to go with him. They had worked together for so long in this race, and then suddenly Chris Otto's like, I'm going to stay on the bottom.
Yeah, I threw a block on Allen, and then I thought he was gonna get to the outside, but I think he ran into my bumper, and it kind of killed his momentum. And then I saw Otto coming, and I just turned it left as hard as I could, and I was hoping he wasn't going to try to make it 3 wide because we all would have crashed. So thankfully, he just rammed me in the bumper as hard as he could, and it ended up working out. So yeah, super thanks to him too.
Again, congratulations here, Johnny, and the moves. We didn't see the outside work that much here today in this package. We had talked to Quentin Stewart and a few other people about, you know, that outside line just not working, but Philbrick getting you up there, that's amazing in itself. Then you jumping down to the bottom, the block through the tri-oval, 18/100ths of a second for one of the closest finishes we've seen here this season. Anybody want to shout out?
Yeah, well, I want to shout out you. It's always nice to have a broadcast to be able to watch these races. I know it's a lot to have to do this every week, so we really do appreciate it, Bradley. And all my family that watches every single week, I know they could be doing a million other things with their time, but they watch, and I really do appreciate it. I love all you guys so much. And my wife, I heard her screaming in the living room watching, so that's always cool. And my Field Up boys, Jason Blaney, Nathan Line, William Tozer, all the guys that help us out, all the sponsors, New HD Media, love the blue car that I get to run every single week, and Quentin, all the guys at QSR for putting this up. And yeah, super, super happy to make it to the next round. And yeah, got another battle next week.
Pocono and the Tricky Triangle for the round of 12. We'll see you in 7 days there at 8 o'clock.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Johnny DePasquale victorious here at Talladega. Hopefully he'll have the same kind of luck moving on to that round of 12. That brings us to our second place finisher, Alan Dobbs. We still haven't found Chris Otto. I don't know if Chris Otto even has Discord at this point. So we're going to move on to second place here. And Alan Dobbs, we know the moves coming out of 4. We know the white flag. We know green, white checkers. I mean, I think every Talladega race I've done here at QSR has had an overtime through the seasons. And we knew you were going to make that move, but were you surprised to see the 45 decide to go low there at the end?
No, not at all. I'm honestly surprised he pushed me for as long as he did. I know that, coming down to the finish at Talladega, no one's gonna help the person in the points lead. Unless
is that just an undiscussed rule? Is that what that is?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, did you see the end of the stage? I mean, that's exactly what the end of the race was about to look like, where I just get murdered. And I knew it was going to be coming. Luckily, the green white checker kind of saved my finish a little bit, I think, because if we would have ran green flag, probably almost everybody in that little pack we were in would have got by me. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything else I could do. I hoped Chris would come up with me, but I knew the position I was in. I didn't expect help. So yeah, I mean, no hard feelings at all.
Well, and on top of that, I think a lot of times points leaders coming into races like this tend to have maybe one of their worst races because nobody wants to work with them. They always get put in bad situations because everyone's trying to avoid even working with them. And you were still able to overcome that and stay in the top 5 a lot. Do you think that maybe was part of the game plan from the start, or did you approach this race that way with that mentality?
Yeah, I truly didn't expect to get much help outside of teammates, and while Nick was still alive before he got taken out, we did work together some. He pushed me up to the lead. That didn't quite work out, but yeah, honestly, I think just getting a good pit stop, and we had such a small group there after the pit stop that I have a feeling Chris and Likens and the rest of them knew exactly what they were doing, keeping me up in the lead. I don't think I was there because they wanted me to be there to lead. I think they wanted me to be there so they could all ditch me later.
Well, I think maybe a little bit of it is what would you do if you were in the same situation? And some of these guys maybe don't premeditate that far.
I don't blame anybody for not wanting to work with me. If the roles were reversed and I'm sitting next to or behind the points leader who's kicking our butt in the standings currently and is already locked into the next round, yeah, I'm leaving him hanging. No doubt about it. So, like I said, no hard feelings for anybody. I had fun. I thought it was not necessarily a great race. The draft was just hard to get going on the outside. But
this package looked, to say the least, it looked real. That's what we compared it to.
Super fun for sure. And the somewhat smaller car count, especially after a couple of wrecks, really hurt that even more. Not able to get, you got to have at least 4 cars that are really close pushing together to really make any kind of headway. But
I have one final question for you here, Alan, and it goes back to the beginning of this race, or not the beginning, but before that caution there where you guys had spread out. We had a long green flag run. There was a big separation to 7th place on back with Quentin Stewart and those group. Do you think the same thing would have happened? Do you think everyone would have stepped out? Do you think it would have been more cordial? Would have been easier to manipulate your situation? What do you think of that and how that might have turned out?
Yeah, I think I would have finished last of the first group, to be perfectly honest. I feel like the Likens would have went with Otto. Otto would have pulled out from behind me. Everybody else would have followed. The only thing that I could have hoped for was that second line got formed up well enough that the person behind me wasn't able to pull out. You will never know what would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, we can watch it back 1,000 times here on V Speed. And Alan, we've had you up here quite a few times in the post-race interviews. You've done a fantastic job and thought maybe it was going to go on to that 5th win. We got Pocono coming up. Anybody want to shout out, though, before we let you go?
Yeah, just as always, shout out to my beautiful wife. You guys for the broadcast, all the admins here, everybody for coming out and race, everybody watching. Redline Racing Network, Tier 1 Setup Shop, just all the guys that help out, all the guys at NCR, Nicholas. Hate he had such a bad race, but we'll be back next week.
Alan Dobbs, 2nd place. Moving on to the round of 12 at the Tricky Triangle. We'll see you then.
Thanks, bud. Have a good one.
There you have it for our post-race coverage. Never could get Chris Otto. There's your 3rd place finisher in the number 45. Hopefully we can get Chris Otto to come up here and have a post-race interview with us in the future. But he drove a phenomenal race. He had a damaged car, was able to put the race together with 7 laps led. It pushed the 54 for a majority of this race, was very, very patient, kept himself in a good situation. Got to thank the 45 for being a part of this here tonight as well. That's going to do it for our post-race coverage from Talladega. QSR Simulations in the Next Gen series is going to be moving on. We've mentioned it a couple times, but we're going to officially talk about it. Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle. It's a racetrack that a lot of drivers don't really like, and it's difficult to get your car set up. Get perfect in every corner is almost impossible. You got to find your 2 best and exploit them because you're going to be bad somewhere. Again, that will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on V-Speed. We have the remainder of the series all the way to the end of the season. For everybody here at QSR with Quentin Stewart, the admin team, Dougie Beard for providing our camera packs here tonight. Phenomenal angles. This is Bradley Cooper on behalf of Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, and Morgan Cook saying so long from Talladega. We'll see you next time here on V-Speed. Stay tracking, everybody.